Ayubowan.
Ayubowan.
First and foremost, let me begin by thanking you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us in this discussion.
Pleasure to get involved in this.
Let me start off by asking you a very simple question. How did you start your day today?
Okay. As usual, I normally wake up in the morning and then have a glass of, not glass, actually 2 glasses of water. And that's something you call Japanese water therapy. And probably the prayers. And that's how I usually start my day.
So, Mr. Seneviratne, today you stand here as the CEO of NDB Bank PLC, a role which you have fulfilled for the last 5 years. Prior to this, you were the CEO of Pan Asia Banking Corporation. Did you always envision yourself to be a corporate leader? Was there any turning point in your career that you led towards this path?
Probably not really to be a CEO at a younger age in my career. I think one turning point was getting into HSBC group. That was in 98, when I got posted to Saudi British Bank in HSBC, Saudi Arabia. So thereafter there was offer to join HSBC Sri Lanka in 2000. I think since then, I think that gave a lot of opportunity for me to grow. As good career evaluation, they identify people early, give them the opportunities, and then you get that opportunity to go overseas and then work, so you get that experience as well. So probably that may be one of the turning point that's at the earlier stages in my career. But thereafter, I was seconded to Thailand. 3 years I was there as Chief Risk Officer, HSBC. So at that time, there was offer came, they were looking for a CEO for Pan Asia Bank. So actually they came to Thailand and had an interview, all that, and then I thought that it better calm down and settle down in Sri Lanka again. That's where, whatever the learnings that we had, good time to get it contributed back to the society, back to the economy. So that's why I thought that I should take that particular responsibility to get into Pan Asia, which was not doing that well at that time. And then over 3 years I turned it around. And thereafter this NDB was also looking for a CEO at that time. And they approached me. So all that, I think probably, not that I went behind things, those institutions came asking for my involvement, and that has helped me. So here I am 5 years at NDB.
So in your career that has spanned across 30 years, from 1990 to today, you have had a magnitude of experience in various countries, from the Middle East to South Asia to Southeast Asia. How have the learnings which you have gained from these countries impacted and shaped the way that you lead people today?
Okay, so I think that way I'm fortunate to get that exposure. Sometimes all youngsters may not get that. I think one thing was that whenever you get the opportunity, I grab them. If that helps to grow their career, sometimes it's difficulties as well. So my first overseas exposure was to Saudi Arabia as a young relationship manager, credit analyst. And prior to that, I started my banking straight from university with Sampath Bank. So since then, I think I also worked towards reaching certain milestones. So I did my banking at very early stages, within 1.5 years, one of the youngest to complete banking at that time. So I think one advice that I can give to any youngster is that whatever the field that you do, try and get your professional qualification in that particular field, because that actually get you the insights. And also nobody else can also challenge, okay, you don't have qualifications or all those things. So that's one thing. Thereafter, having completed the banking, I realized that there's good potential in the credit side, lending, and that's where the banks are making money. So I just want to get into that side. So initially my 2 to 3 years was with finance department, but thereafter I moved to, I asked for a transfer. And I was fortunate to move into corporate banking at Sampath Bank as a very junior officer, credit officer. But there again, I grabbed that opportunity to learn. So the hunger to learn is important. And then So there I was working for a senior relationship manager. Again, probably an opportunity. He actually had to apply for sick leave for 3 months. He was going through some medical condition. So my department head, Mrs. Gunaratna, asked me, Dimantha, why not you handle that portfolio till he returns back? So again, I thought that it's a big portfolio, but I thought I should take that challenge, and my senior boss is asking this. So again, taking that opportunity, and that actually helped me to get that confidence to handle customers, do credit papers to the board, all that. And thereafter, from Sampath, I moved to Overseas Trust Bank. That was a foreign bank in Sri Lanka, operating with one branch. But there again, the intention was to get some foreign bank exposure. Yeah, their culture, the processes are different to what we have here. Then I thought that I should move out to get some overseas exposure. So that's where I got the opportunity to move into Saudi British Bank, initially as a credit analyst, thereafter got promoted as a relationship manager in Saudi Arabia. And when I finished at Saudi Arabia, then HSBC Sri Lanka offered me to join HSBC Sri Lanka as a resident manager. So there again, I think the credit basic skills I learned at Sampath, thereafter Saudi British Bank, all that helped to nurture my skills in the credit side, on the corporate relationship management, all that. And then at HSBC, I was identified as one of the high potential person, so that a lot of opportunities were given, and I'm thankful to that. And then thereafter, I was given the chief risk officer position in Sri Lanka. Then HSBC moved into Maldives as well. So there again, I got involved in setting up the lending guidelines for Maldives. So we basically started Maldives operations as well. So there, based on that performance, when there was an opportunity came at HSBC Group to be, there was a vacancy at HSBC Bangladesh, short-term arrangement, till they find a good CRO from elsewhere. So my boss in Hong Kong asked me, Dimantha, can you handle Bangladesh? So it's a parallel job while you are based in Sri Lanka to handle Bangladesh. But he said that I think Sri Lanka is now settled down because you have done a good job. So probably we want you to move to Bangladesh and handle both Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives. So I did that move. Then I returned back to Colombo, and within few months there was a vacancy at the HSBC Group for Thailand, chief risk officer. So again, through the selection process, interview, so many expats and others applied for that, but I think I got that opportunity to get a secondment to HSBC Thailand. That experience, all those experiences gave me the insights to come and deliver things that I practice at first in Pan Asia and then now at NDB.
So you're quite reputed for being a transformational CEO who is instrumental in leading your organization for exceptional turnaround results in a very quick span of time. What do you think is different in your style of leadership?
If I'm talking about the two CEO positions that I have held so far, one at Pan Asia, that was I think beginning of 2014, when Pan Asia was going through a lot of difficulties, non-performing loans are very high, the profitability was meager, 150 million kind of situation, a lot of staff turnover. So the one thing is that I think I got the opportunity when they are in a weaker situation as an institution. But there again, applying the experiences that you have earned over the years, applying them, and getting the right people around you is also important. So which I did exactly the same, getting the right people into the bus. I don't know whether you have read Good to Great book by Jim Collins, again, that talks about 5 principles, and one is that you need to have the right team working for you. So it's to get and then also delegate them, delegate with confidence, all that applied. So I think within 3 years time we got Pan Asia to a very high performing mid-sized bank. When I left Pan Asia, bank was making a profit after tax of 1.1 billion. So thereafter moving into NDB, that was in 2017 January. Again, NDB was going through some leadership challenges, and there again probably a lot of initial challenges, but again getting the right people around you. The board also supported me, and winning the confidence of the team, that is important, and getting the culture change. I mean, at that time NDB had probably different cultural backgrounds. NDB Development Bank, ABN AMRO people who were there, and also those who had joined subsequently when NDB expanded into commercial bank. So many new staff came from different banks. So it's a mixed culture. So aligning them into one culture, where through an organizational change management program, getting the strategy right, and that time we had, in 2017 we set targets to become a systemically important bank by 2020. So, and one of the top 5 banks in 2020. So that was our target. So you drive that message across all the staff, and also NDB. Even now we have several subsidiaries in the financial sector, like NDB Investment Bank, Wealth Management, Stockbroking, and also Bangladesh operation. So getting all these cultures aligned into one NDB theme was my initial challenge. So in first 1.5 years, aligning them, getting them into one culture, and working as a good well-oiled machinery. So sometime in the process you need to ensure that your leadership team is the right. So I had to take some decisions in terms of changing people and getting the right people again to the bus, so that you can go one journey rather than going into different direction. So sometimes you have to be tough as well in doing those. Ultimately now it has become a very well managed, quite well motivated involvement of all to get into that level, so that people believe in you. You give them the responsibilities, but also encourage them, support them whenever they have challenges, and also motivate them when they do good things. All that has helped to come to that level. And for that matter, I would also give credit to PIM, where I did my master's several years ago, and all those learnings. I think doing a quality work always, I think that's where that quality was brought in to me, instilled by the PIM. Whatever come out from you, ensure that it's a good quality thing that comes out. And that's a good principle for everybody to learn and practice. That again helped me to have these leadership positions with confidence. That's what the masters brings in.
Having worked with and alongside many leaders throughout your career, do you have any inspirational leader or role model that you look up to?
Strange, but I don't have any. Probably at the initial stages in your career, you tend to have one or two role models. Okay, I would like to be somebody like that in, say, 5 years' time. So that is probably at the initial stage in your career. But when you reach your leadership level in an organization, I think we have to be the role model to us. So right now, I don't have any role models to say about, yes, I want to be like that. No.
And to talk a bit more about the economic situation, the current economic context of Sri Lanka, as you look into the corporate leaders of this country, what are the improvement areas that you think should happen to the corporate leadership in order to elevate the economy to the next level?
Okay, so that's a bit of a sensitive area as well. When you look at the policy creation and policy adhering to those policies is important. Unfortunately, what has happened in Sri Lanka is that every 5 years we have political changes most of the time, and whenever a government get longer than 5 years, probably it's a different agenda that sometimes it happens. But ideally, one corporate lesson that we can apply to the country is that having a long-term policy where you get input from a lot of experts, get everybody to think about the country's future, what competitive advantages that we have. I mean, we are 22 million population, small island, but a lot of resources that we have, and the intellectual capacity of the people are very high. Being island economy, I think we are self-sufficient. Yes, some imports we depend on that. But again, if you have the right policies and apply those policies throughout, I think that is important. Unfortunately, that has not happened in the past. Whenever there's a government change or whenever the ministerial even change, even during that 5 years, if a minister change in particular area, sometimes you get policy changes. I think that's the one key issue that we are faced with. But if we can get the policy right and apply to that policy, there can be ups and downs during that tenure. But if you have a goal and have a nice policy, that is probably one lesson that we can learn on driving this economy forward.
The COVID-19 pandemic, the world as we know it has changed. We have seen so much of transformation in the way that we work. New normal, working from home, those are words that did not even exist in our vocabulary 2.5 years ago. And yet, we talk about that on a daily basis today. Even through all these challenges, NDB Bank has thrived. Being named as the best bank in Sri Lanka in 2021 by Global Finance and Review magazine of USA. So, how did you change your leadership style when faced with challenges of this magnitude?
It was, for everybody it was new. We never expected COVID to create such a havoc. And still we are in this after 2 years, right? So getting adjusted to that new norm was initially the challenge. And I think during that time I was also giving leadership to the banking industry as chairman of the Sri Lanka Bank Association. These are all bank CEOs as a forum. So I was the chairman. So initial reaction was when the COVID hit the country, a lot of salary cuts. I mean, some you may recall that some of the corporates have gone for salary cuts and all. But here I took a stance that okay, banking is a service industry, and banking contribute a lot in the economic revival. And we knew that first to get impacted are also the borrowers or the customers. So as a result, probably the income level of the banks. However, we need to also continuously provide the service. As an intermediary service provider in the economy, deposit taking, transactional banking, all that. So for that you need to keep the banks open. You need to have cash being delivered despite all the lockdowns and all. So for that you need to have well-motivated staff to come and deliver that. You can't do that with the salary cuts and all and then something hanging around. Okay, the uncertainty is hanging around. We know that some of the government industries, some of the large corporates, they do salary cuts and all. But I think as industry, again at the SLBA level also, we agreed that we should not do that. Worst situation probably at the end of the year, but not immediately. And that works very well. We used our Bank to You application to take cash to especially the elderly customers and all who are unable to come out from their homes, etc. That's again adjusting to the new norm. Then thereafter, a lot of moratoriums were requested and borrowers were asking for moratoriums, debt cuts and all. Now that actually was threatening the industry. You need to also have a sustainable banking and there may be opportunities as well trying to take advantage of the situation. So again, as an industry we work closely with the central bank to come up with the proper moratorium guideline. So all that getting adjusted to new norms, probably the experience that you had elsewhere also helped, and also I have a wonderful team as well, getting them to all contribute, using digital technology, taking the digital lead. I think that has helped us to introduce an NDB Neos app just before the COVID situation, and that NDB Neos actually contributed a lot later on as everybody was moving from cash to a less cash society. Having that digital platform laid few years ago is reaping a lot of dividends. So all that has helped to keep the service level much above. I mean, we didn't stop launching new products. new digital banking projects like the VKYC. Again, now without a customer coming to a branch, a customer can open their account at the comfort of their home. So these novel things also came as a result of the COVID. So again, using the face identification technology, we launched it. I think we are the only bank to launch it so far. Using the face recognition technology, tying up with the registrar of persons and all. And that itself has given several accounts as well. So getting staff to give that confidence in managing the COVID situation, the comfort that they can come to work, and also new things that we are developing to have less interaction face to face, but through digital technology, all have helped to probably become the best digital bank as well. I think we won again Global Finance Best Digital Bank Award for 2021. Recently at the local digital platform award ceremony, again the NEOS got the best digital app award. All that has helped, all that happened during the COVID period, but I think people have developed that.
All the organizations that you have led so far are profit-oriented. And in today's context, sustainability is a construct that has been discussed greatly, both internationally and locally. What is your opinion of bringing sustainable perspective to the banking industry in Sri Lanka, especially in terms of ethics and corporate governance?
See, sustainable banking is quite a key element in taking the society to a different level. See, you can earn profits, maybe 1 year you do that, next few years you may not do that. You need to have that continuously with the momentum and what you contribute back to the society. So it's all depend on the 3 P's, people, planet and profit, and how you sustainably manage that. So you need to see, in the banking especially, is quite important that you do that sustainably, because society at large, people around us, people inside the bank, staff, I mean, they should also have good career plans for them, so that in the organization, how they grow up in their career and how they contribute back to the society. To sustain that, you need to have profit as well. So again, making profits in a sustainable manner. And then whilst you do that, you use a lot of environmental assets, so the planet. So ensure that planet is also secured. So how we do that is we have sustainable initiatives that separate people involved in that to ensure that every credit that we book, right, if that is having an impact to the society, the environment, that get vetted. So we do have guidelines to follow, and we ensure that we also protect the environment. I mean, we are moving towards sustainable energy sector, right? I think for that matter, NDB had been funding last 5 years 30% or almost 1/3 of Sri Lanka's sustainable power generations through renewable sources. We have been financiers of that. And then also, as I mentioned earlier, all the credit facilities, we ensure that we do get them vetted through the sustainability framework to see whether there's any damage to the environment, any damage to the people surrounding that, all that, and to ensure that as a responsible corporate citizen, we give back to the society what we get at a added value with added value. So that's important in sustainable banking.
In the past 5 years, you have transformed NDB Bank from number 7 position to number 4. And what made that change happen? What did you do as a leader to bring about that transformation? And how do you expect to continue the growth trajectory of NDB Bank? So
I think I briefly touched in my earlier answers about this. So getting the right team and giving them the right opportunities is the key. So identifying the team, the leadership team, and also communicating this message across to the larger community. Now we have 3,000 plus staff at NDB, and also the group companies, about another 100, 150 there. So getting everybody into one goal, one strategy is important. and getting this leadership team, then the others also to believe in that strategy. So for that, you need to have a lot of interactions. I mean, initial stages, I had a lot of sessions to interact with the staff. So coffee with CEO, town hall meetings, to communicate this message and let them also clarify whatever that questions that they have from the leadership. Now, recently we launched our new strategy. Now, the earlier strategy I was referring to was the Transformation 2020, where we want to be by 2020 to be one of the top 5 banks. Now, we achieved that even before 5 years, and we achieved now that we are the 4th largest listed bank in the country. Now, with that success, we came up with a 2025 strategy for 5 years, which we now call Voyage 2025. Now, there again, the customer centricity, the digital as one of the pillar, all that new concept, bank, branch as a service center, all those new concepts, we need to now drill it down to the majority of the staff, all of them, to believe in the value of this strategy. One key success factor is that having a good strategy and leading from the front to execute them. I mean, any strategy can be nice on paper unless you are unable to execute that. So execution is the key. So when you execute, you need to have the right people, have them whenever there are challenges, understand, attend to those, and drive in that. So far, we have been good at doing that, and the next step is ensuring that this is sustained. So that's where you build up your leadership team, giving them the opportunities, building the next level of leadership, identify the top talent, apply probably the 9-box model to identify them and providing them great opportunities to learn, get their skill level, maybe the coaching that is required. So you need to build up the next level of leadership. So whenever there's somebody moves out from the organization, there are several others to take up that position. And it's important, delegate with confidence and build in that.
Now we are moving on to a more exciting segment of our discussion. I'll be asking you a series of questions, and you have to answer the first thought that comes to your mind. You have around 10 seconds to answer each question.
Oh, that's okay.
So, given the choice of anyone in this world, who would you invite as a dinner guest?
Okay, if there's a choice, probably I'll invite my late parents to be my dinner guests. I hope they would also cherish what their son has achieved. They are gone for about good 15 years now. But good to get them if they are around.
And what was your favorite food as a child?
Hoppers and egg hoppers. My mom used to prepare them every Sunday for breakfast, so we were getting ready for that every weekend. So
your house, containing everything that you own, catches on fire. After saving your loved ones and pets, you have time to make one final dash safely. What is one item that you would save and why? Okay.
By the way, the house is insured, so probably the things that you may lose, you can get it back. Probably some of those with sentimental value. So one is probably the Bible, and along with that, I value a guitar that I use it so that there's sentimental attachment for probably that.
When was the last time that you tried something new, and what was that?
Unfortunately, because of COVID, couldn't travel for a long time. You know that 2.5 years we couldn't travel that much. For one I remember is that in Kenya, going to this before the Masai Mara tour, going to a restaurant and trying this ostrich meat, and then probably the oxbow soup and all that kind of. I would like to try some different things. Apart from that, very recently I got the opportunity to go to Maldives there with my wife doing parasailing, and while doing parasailing, probably I'm singing some songs up there in air.
If you were to meet your 18-year-old self, what advice would you give to him?
Okay, probably 18 years, probably listen to God, follow His advice. There's a lot more you can do with the faith. So have that faith and follow the God. Probably that may be advice. I came to know God very recently, so probably 18 years younger me would have done much more had you listened to God earlier.
So with that being said, sir, thank you so much for taking time to have this discussion with us. This was indeed a very insightful discussion, and we really appreciate your insights, and we are certain that these insights will go a long way in helping us shape our careers. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so thank you very much for the opportunity, and I wish all of you all the very best completing your masters with flying colors, and also more importantly thereafter contributing to the society as good leaders. So all the very best to all of you.